Hello everyone and welcome to another video review by Snippy Geek. Today we're going to discuss my thoughts and opinions upon an NBC television series by the name of Hannibal. I'm going to talk about Season 2, Episode 10 titled Naka-Choko. And so for Hannibal, we pretty much have, major spoilers coming up. Will Graham is starting to become more and more like Hannibal Lecter. He's almost, in this, previous episode, Hannibal Lecter tried to kill, the main plot, he tried to kill him. So we have that whole thing going on. He tried to kill him, so now pretty much, they're even now. Will Graham tried to kill him. Hannibal Lecter tried to kill him. Now they're even. So Will Graham no longer, he's now fascinated with Hannibal Lecter's character, and he's almost starting to become more like Hannibal Lecter. He's starting to, Hannibal Lecter's like teaching him the way, some really cool stuff. They're like chopping up food together, and at the end, it showed the whole faces like flashback together. Major spoiler coming up. So Will Graham in this episode is starting to become more and more like Hannibal Lecter. That's pretty much the main plot for Season 2, Episode 10, titled Naka-Choko, for the NBC television series with the name of Hannibal. Overall, my thoughts and opinions and review of this episode, I loved this episode. I love where the series is going. It's going in this great direction where we have this nice sort of, dialogue-driven series where you really have to pay attention to the dialogue. You really have to pay attention to all the nice little metaphors and the symbolism that we see, especially in previous episodes, where the great scene where it shows Hannibal Lecter being strung up against the tree, and we have, the elk or deer, whatever it is, with ropes, and and it keeps strangling him. He wants Hannibal Lecter to admit who he is, and Hannibal Lecter won't. And some really cool, some great stuff, some great, I guess you could say, psychological horror scenes that really make up for just really make up for some great stuff in the show. A curious thing, this is kind of like an off-topic thing, but it seems as if also, well, let's talk about that in just a second. They're showing some some big scenes in the next promo. We'll talk about those in just a second, though. Let's get back to my review before I get myself off track. But overall, I loved this episode. One of the things I've always liked about Hannibal is that our relationship between our characters of Hannibal Lecter and Will Graham, their relationship is always getting all the more intricate, all the more close, all the more strange, and just all the more weird, right? Their relationship is just seeing the progression of Will Graham, the journey his character has taken. He's on a big journey. He started off as being, this whole, professor and, special agent, whatever he was, and he started off as that, and he slowly started to become, I guess you could say, a nutcase. He slowly started to progress into this, and he slowly started to become, a sociopath, a psychopath, whatever you want to call him. So it's really interesting stuff, some intricate details and a nice amount of symbolism, metaphors. Every time his character talks to each other, it seems that they're speaking in some sort of metaphor. So I love stuff like that. Stuff like that just really interests me, and you really got to listen, because they're not going to say everything directly at you. You're going to have to listen to the dialogue, listen to the conversation that they're talking to each other in order to get the full story right. So I just love that stuff. Some great scenes, great acting. I love the NBC television series by the name of Hannibal in general. Another great episode. Let's get to one of the most interesting things I found out. Besides their whole relationship and the whole fact of Will Graham becoming closer and closer to Hannibal Lecter, it seems as if, in my opinion, this series is just about over now. I know the creator, Brian Fuller, wants to make a Season 3, and that's perfectly okay with me. There's plenty of more source material out there that they could go with. Because if you don't know, this is based on the character of Hannibal Lecter, the characters of the book Red Dragon by the author of Thomas Harris. And now, so I will say I haven't actually read the book, so I don't know too much about it, but I have seen all the Hannibal films. You have Hannibal, Signs of the Lambs, Hannibal Rising that came out, and then the prequel to Signs of the Lambs is a film by the name of Red Dragon. Now here's the thing I actually want to talk about, because I saw a scene in the promo episode 11 for Season 2 of the NBC television series with the name of Hannibal, where they use a direct scene, I guess that comes from that book, that is in this movie. And it's this, scene where, minor spoiler coming up if you haven't seen the movie. I believe, I haven't seen this in a while, but I do remember it pretty vividly. The scene happens, I believe, roughly maybe 40, 50 minutes into the film, maybe halfway into the film, where there was someone that's lit on fire, they're in a wheelchair, and they're pushed through the street. And that scene is straight from the film of Red Dragon. And I noticed that there's a scene that's identical, it's just like that, in episode 11 of Season 2 of the NBC television series with the name of Hannibal. So finally, they're starting to throw in scenes directly from the film that, Edward Norton and Anthony Hopkins were in. And, they're starting to throw scenes directly from this, from this movie. So that's really cool. I didn't expect that. I mean, I knew eventually they were going to get to that point. I just didn't expect it to come so soon. So it's pretty cool to see, a throwback to Red Dragon, the book, and for fans of the book, of the Thomas Harris book, or for fans of just Hannibal Lecter's character in general. I just thought that was really interesting how they did that. And as I said, Brian, it hasn't been confirmed for season 3 yet. Brian Fuller does have some ideas for season 3 of some characters that he wants to introduce, and there's definitely some sources out there where they can make a season 3. It just seems as if so many big things are happening where it seems like we're getting down to the end of the line. But overall, a great show and a great episode. Once again, thanks for watching the video by Centipede Geek for my review of the NBC television series by the name of Hannibal for Season 2, Episode 10, titled Naka-Choko. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe to my page below, and I'll see you guys later with more videos.